Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining us for the Applying for UMW Scholarships and Additional Funding with our financial aid team. We have quite a few folks that are registered to join us this evening, so please give us a minute while we allow all of them to enter into our Zoom session. So we'll get started at about 6:01, 6:02. That number is still climbing. Good evening, folks. For those of you who are just joining us, we are going to give folks a minute or two to get into the Zoom session. We are expecting almost 200 people this evening, so just bear with us as we're letting everybody in. Welcome to the Applying for UMW Scholarships and Additional Funding. Okay, it looks like the entering of folks has slowed down a little bit. Good evening, everyone. My name is Sarah Lindberg. I am the Director of First Year Admission here at the University of Mary Washington. We are excited to have you join us for applying for UMW scholarships and additional funding with our team from Financial Aid. Please keep in mind a few housekeeping items for this evening. We are in a traditional Zoom meeting format, which means you can be seen and you can be heard. So while we love to see faces in boxes, we also understand that if you don't want your face to be shown on the recording, that you go ahead and turn off your video. We do ask that you mute yourself until we get to the question answer portion of the evening. So at that time, you can unmute yourself and ask questions at the end. We do have a hard stop at 7 p.m. tonight. So if some of your questions don't get answered, please know that you can always reach out to your admissions counselor and we can make sure that you get the right answers or get connected to the person who can give you the right answers. Again, we are recording this evening's session. It will be sent to anybody that has been registered and attended the event and will be available on our YouTube channel later this week. You will receive an email with the link once it is available to you. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to our Assistant Director of Financial Aid, Jessica Cannon. Jessica.
Thank you, Sarah. Hi, everyone. So as she said, I'm Jessica in the Financial Aid Office, and I'm joined by Tessa Howard, who's our Director of Financial Aid tonight. And feel free to put any questions you might have in the chat. So we'll begin with our first slide. So we have our contact information here, our telephone number and our email, which is the 540-654-2468. and finaid@umw.edu. So that's where you can reach us. And of course, as she said, we are here tonight talking about how to apply for UMW scholarships and additional aid sources. So let's get started. So hello, it's nice to meet all of you. So tonight we're going to be discussing how you go about applying for the UMW scholarship application process and additional funding. This first slide we have up is the link that you're welcome to jot down. This is how students can log on to the online scholarship application. So it's umw.edu/scholar, and you would use your UMW Net ID and password to do that. So just some background information about how this will work. So we offer UMW Foundation and Departmental Scholarships. So this initial image you're seeing down at the bottom is kind of a screenshot of when you first appear on the website. So there's different options that you can do. So the first thing we'll talk about is the Explore button, which just allows you to type in any information you're trying to research. It will kind of show you what scholarships may come up. So for example, if you're from a certain county, you could type that in. It may tell you what's available, or if you type in like GPA or financial need, We have various different scholarships that have different criteria, so that will allow you to search them without actually applying yet. So you can kind of see what's out there. So this application is like a smart application in a sense. So you do not have to apply individually to scholarships. So you'll submit one application and you can apply each year you're at UMW. And the system does the hard part of the work. It will automatically match you to all of the opportunities that you're qualifying for based on how you progress through answering in the application. So once you have committed to coming to the university, you'll receive your net ID and password. And I'm going to kind of let Sarah tell you about this piece kind of briefly.
Yes, thank you, Jessica. So one of the things that I want to mention, and Jessica will mention, you do need your UMW Net ID and password to apply for our foundation and departmental scholarships. For students, I know we have a mix of both deposited and non-deposited students in our session tonight. If you have not accepted your offer of admission to Mary Washington, but you want to have an opportunity to be considered for some of these scholarships, do know that you will still be considered. You have until May 15th to fill out this application. So you do not need to rush to pay your deposit to apply for these scholarships. If you know that you're going to be looking for additional funding as a student who is still in an offer status, please reach out to your admissions counselor. And you can start a conversation there about what you may be eligible for through our scholarship foundation. If you have paid your deposit, the best thing for you to do is to go ahead and start working on this application. Thanks, Jessica.
You're welcome. So as she said, the global deadline is May 15th. Normally every year, just so you have the background information, the application opens February 1st each year through May 15th. Sometimes we do reopen it if we're looking to award additional scholarships at a later point in the year. And once you get to the point of declaring your major, some of those departmental deadlines do have their own separate deadline, and we'll show you that in just a moment. Okay, so when you are going about logging in, that again, that's the link. So umw.edu/scholar. So this next section is just another way that you can access the site. You can go directly to that link, or this other second option will take you through the financial aid webpage to get there as well. So you would see this screenshot. This is just how you would log in. It's just showing the net ID and password to access the site. And then some next things, kind of what to expect when you're going through the application. So there are 45-minute sessions. So if it times out, you would need to log back in. So every time you move to a new page, that's going to reset. And in the upper left corner, you'll see the academic year listed every year. Some scholarships may require a FAFSA to have been completed to show you're eligible. And you'll want to apply for the scholarship application every year. And some may also prompt you to enter a letter of reference information. So in that case, you would enter who you're thinking of sending it to, and it will generate an email for them to complete that automatically. So it's not something you have to do outside of here. And then what to expect in receiving a scholarship. So a lot of the scholarships, not all, but majority of them that we do have are renewable. So you will be completing requirements if you're offered a scholarship, which we'll get to in a moment. But as long as you meet the requirements every year, and as long as the funding has come through, you would be set up as renewable if they're that case. Okay, so this is how to explore scholarships. This is on the main page prior to logging in, what this will look like. So in this keyword search here in the middle, it will allow you to kind of type in the criteria that you're thinking of looking for, like, for example, your major maybe, or like I was saying, the county you're from, something along those lines, and it will show you what's available. You could also possibly look up the ones maybe you're thinking of majoring in. So it will allow you to look at those without logging in with a net ID and password. And then this is a screenshot of what it looks like when you actually are logged in as a student. So you'll see in the upper left corner the academic year. Um, when you get to completing multiple applications for each year, they're all housed under the application tab. Any scholarships you're offered will be under My Awards, and then you can search additional scholarships. And then you would also have donor information if you've been offered one there that you could see. And then that's just a contact us for our information. So it will always show you, like, for example, this is the 25-26 application. It will always show you the due date. And then when you submitted it, it will always kind of have that timestamp there of the actual date that you submitted it. And then if you wanted to go back in and review answers, you could do that as well. Okay, so this is the actual main page, first page of the application, just so you can kind of see what that looks like. We update the application every year, especially if we're adding scholarships. So it could change a little bit, but it will tell you, like, for example, in 25-26, over 500 students received foundation scholarships. And then it will kind of go through some housekeeping things to expect in the application. So anything you see with the red asterisk would be something required, like it pertains a lot to when you get into your major section, when you declare your major, because some of the departments do have their own questions that they would require. And then it will tell you the deadline, and then that specific departments have their own deadlines. And then this is in the beginning of the application as well. So this is the current year deadlines. So it will give you an idea of the particular major areas and what they look like currently. So no one is earlier than April 1. So every deadline is after April 1 through May 15th. So when you have been offered an award, this is what it will look like in the system. So again, it's under the awards tab. It will show you the amount, and it will break down the name of the scholarship. And this is hyperlinked as well, so you could see the information about the scholarship. It will tell you how it's broken down, whether all in fall, spring, or divided up, the amounts, the date you were awarded. And then on this side, it shows you the award acceptance thank you letter. There's a donor questionnaire and then the letter of acceptance. So those are the requirement pieces that you would do. So the thank you letter goes to the donor. The award acceptance is just you accepting it. And then the letter of acceptance actually will go over, like, if it's a renewable scholarship, what you would need to retain that each year, whether it's like a GPA, it could be full-time enrollment, different pieces like that. It really comes from what's in the terms of agreement with the donor. And then this is just a kind of a deeper dive into what those requirements look like when you actually go in to do them. So again, it will have the name of the scholarship. It will have the academic year over here, the amounts again, and this piece is kind of the terms. And then the requirements are broken down over here. So you're seeing the award acceptance again, the letter of the thank you note you actually upload through the site, and that goes to the advancement office, and then they will get that to the donor. And then the letter of acceptance and the donor questionnaire, and that's just information about you. Okay, so some notification timeline information that we thought would be helpful. So February 1st is when the application opens every year. May 15th is when this closes. And then we have July up here as student accounts will be sending out the first round of fall bills, which would be emailed. So all of the scholarships we try to have on the accounts by the time that the bills go out. And that you want to just keep in mind that it is required that you would do the requirements for the scholarship in order for it to appear on your bill. And then we just have a fun fact here. So last year, over 550 students received the foundation scholarships. Okay, so some information we thought would be helpful for the additional aid for the kind of the second half of the presentation. So this is a screenshot of the current year payment plans. So these are offered through the Office of Student Accounts, and they break it down by fall, spring, and summer. So there is, depending on how many number of payments that you would like, there is a 5 payment, 4, and 3. So for example, the 5 payments would be July through November, and then there is a small enrollment fee for each of these. So you're finishing them all during the semester, and they would not overlap into the next semester. And then they open these on specific days, they become available for the semester. So like fall opened in May of 2025 for the upcoming semester. And then that is the student accounts email as well if you were interested or had questions about specifics on that. So umwbills@umw.edu. Okay, so just some information on veteran and military resources. So the primary point of contact for this would be the Office of the Registrar. And we just have their information here as well. So that would be the registrar@umw.edu. And then we have 2 certifying officials as well, who are Ryan Hastings and Patricia Sarcuti. So that's their contact information as well. And then this is just a screenshot from our website of what benefits could potentially be used at UMW. So this would be the post 9/11 GI Bill, which is Chapter 33. There's Survivors, Independence, Educational Assistance, which is Chapter 35. The Veteran Readiness and Employment, which is Chapter 31. Virginia Military Survivors Dependents Education Program, also you may have heard it called the VMSDEP. The Montgomery GI Bill at Selected Reserve, which is Chapter 1606, or the Montgomery GI Bill at Active Duty, which is Chapter 30. And we decided to include some information on 529 plans. You may have heard of about these. So these are processed through the Office of Student Accounts as well. So there's some different options here. So you may have heard of the Virginia prepaid plan. And this is the website, what that looks like. So with the Virginia prepaid plan, there is the Invest 529 and the prepaid 529. So with the Invest 529, the process is you would submit a withdrawal request to Invest 529 either online or by mail. It would have to be done at least 10 days before the deadline. So you would indicate the amount you're requesting, and you would include your student UMW banner ID number on the withdrawal request, and the checks come directly mailed to the university cashier office. And then that is listed here as well, the contact service number if you had questions regarding that. And then also to consider non-Virginia 529. And that as well would go to the cashiering office. Okay, so some information on private loans. This screenshot is from our website. So elmselect.com is what we recommend to go through if you're interested in doing private loans. So some examples of these may be offered through your bank. If you have a relationship with a credit union or an organization, these are all credit-based. So we recommend first to complete the FAFSA before applying for private loans, as the rate through FAFSA does tend to be better. But again, these are credit-based, so it will depend on that. So students may be awarded with private loans up to their COA, which is cost of attendance. All right, and let's see. UMW will certify the private loans, so the payment will come directly to the university. Okay, so some information on Parent Plus loans. This is another good option. So starting in 26-27, There's been a lot of changes with this year, so it would be 20,000 per year, which is max 10,000 per semester. And the lifetime aggregate limit is 65,000. So you may need to rely on private loans or another payment source to cover your entire tuition and fees with these. So one grandfather clause is if you have taken out a Parent Plus loan for 25-26 for a dependent, you may also be able to lock in the older rules for up to 3 more years. So which is federal regulation pending. And that's the website here, which is studentaid.gov you would apply through. And then we also included just some information on non-UMW scholarships. So students may apply for scholarships outside of the university. These are non-UMW sources, so you don't have to, you should expect not to have to pay to find these. You can reach out. One suggestion we had is to your guidance counselor if you have a guidance office at your school. They may have more information on these. You could look into community service organizations, nonprofit agencies, possibly even like churches, or if you have a current job somewhere, they may have more information on them as well. And we just included these, so we're not able to endorse anyone in particular, but these are just some that students have used in the past, which is FastWeb, College Board, and then the Scholarship Search by Sally Mae. So again, these are all outside of UMW. And you want to just kind of be aware that there are scams out there, so be very cautious about what they're asking for. And we included this page. So this is some upcoming additional webinars and chat series that are being offered. So in March, we have one on your UMW financial aid, where we are now in next steps. And then April, let's talk about student loans. And then May, we have understanding your UMW slash payment, your bill slash payment options. And then in June, there is one on financial aid slash the billing overview. Okay, and then we included this page as well. So this is my information at the top. And then Maureen Aylward is also in the advancement office. So she works closely with donor relations and stewarding. So if you have questions like about the criteria of the scholarship or the thank you note piece, you may be hearing from her. So we just included her information as well. And then I believe at this time we're going to open it up to any questions that you may have.
So I will help with a few questions in the chat. So first couple of things I want to make sure folks know. One, your UMW banner ID number is different than your UMW net ID. So a banner ID number is also sometimes called a student ID number, and it starts with 000. This number is available to you in your admissions portal. It's also on the top of your financial aid award letter if you have received it. Your net ID was sent to you via email. They started being sent out on February 17th. This is the front portion of your email address. So it is the part that comes before at umw.edu. So for example, for me, it's S for Sarah, and pretty much my last name, Lindber at U, and then the next part is at umw.edu. So that is my net ID, just to give some clarification on those pieces. There was also a question about how do you get notified if you receive one of these endowed scholarships. Jessica, do you want to say how a student is notified?
Sure. So we send out notifications. So it will go to your UMW student email. So we send out notifications. It will prompt you to log in and complete the requirements, and you're notified that way.
Perfect. There's a couple of questions about outside scholarships. Do outside non-UMW scholarships impact my UMW merit award or other scholarships I may qualify for at Mary Washington?
You want me to take that one? Or?
Yeah, go
No,
ahead.
oh yeah.
Sorry.
I'm gonna highlight Tessa too. Hold on, so folks can see her. There you go.
Okay, so again, just repeat the question. You said it was, will outside scholarships impact my aid at UMW?
Yes.
Okay, so we put a budget in for every student for the year. So as long as you're not exceeding your cost of attendance for the year, it should not. I think the best way to
It,
answer that.
yeah, it generally does not impact your financial aid, but if you have an outside scholarship coming in and you do have a fairly large financial aid award, feel free to reach out to us and we can take a look at it and let you know if there are any implications. But normally it doesn't make any difference. Sarah, did you want me to do a couple or did you have more that you
Yeah,
wanted
you
to
can go ahead and
address?
grab them.
Okay, great. All right. So great questions, everyone. You're keeping me busy in that chat. So I have highlighted a few questions that I thought might benefit the entire group, and I also have some questions that were sent prior to the chat or to the webinar that we can take a look at. Jessica, I will ask you to address this because I don't know the answer, honestly. If you have
Okay.
if you have two majors, how do you add the second major to make sure that you fall into all possible buckets of scholarships?
Good
Or
question.
can you only include one major?
No. So it will incorporate your information from Banner. So as long as you have your Banner portal, so it will depend on if you've declared it. So as long as you've declared both of them, it will automatically recognize that and it should come over into the
Right.
system. So it brings over things like your address, your GPA, of course, your name, like your county, kind of all of your student profile information that automatically shows up into the system.
And if I'm correct, Jessica, it for incoming students, well, for all students, but mainly for incoming, it will also show academic interests as opposed to majors, correct?
Right. So I think
Since
they
they
would
haven't
list
claimed
it
their
as
major.
right. They would list it as
Okay.
undeclared. But if you have an interest in one, you could still answer that.
Okay, great. Here's another one for you. Can letters of reference submitted on the initial application to UMW count for scholarships, or should students seek new letters?
So I would say if they have one they submitted on behalf of the student, you would still have to enter the particular um, letter of reference, like their contact information. It would still generate an email to them, and they could still upload that same letter. They could
Okay.
essentially use the same letter. It will just have to generate an email to them to upload it.
So once the student completes the application, the notice would go out to the email of the people that they have put on for a reference. And
Correct.
those references can be the same as UMW application. They would just need to resubmit them through the portal.
Right. They would still
Okay,
need to list them within the scholarship application. It doesn't have a
got
way to link it to the
it. Okay.
admissions one.
All right. We talked about outside scholarships. We did have some questions. I can address this. We did have some questions about how do you get outside scholarships from different sources to the university. We ask that you send it directly to the office of the cashier, which is located at 1301 College Avenue, which is the address for the entire college. But if you specifically make it out to the office of the cashier, and that also goes for any other type of sources that you have. Okay. Let's see. I know you addressed this, Sarah or Jerry, but we had a lot of questions about net ID. Um, so I was having trouble finding how to set up my net ID. Where am I supposed to set that up?
Yes, that's a great question. So once you have paid your enrollment deposit with the university, about 48 to 72 hours after you have done that, you will receive an email that has the subject line, your UMW net ID and email are ready. Something to that effect. Um, It is automatically generated. We have noticed more recently with our lovely friends at Gmail and iCloud that this message is going to folks' spam and promotions or junk folders. So if you have paid your deposit, it has been more than 72 hours, and you have not gotten an email about your net ID, check your spam, junk, and promotion folders. And if you still can't find it, contact your admissions counselor and we will get that resent to you.
Perfect.
And all the instructions on how you set up your email and password and everything are included in the email message itself.
Great. And one more for you guys. Are there actions that you need to take to confirm that they should receive in-state tuition right off the bat?
So you should have in the application for admission answered questions about your eligibility for in-state tuition. And you will be able to check in your admissions portal if you have been granted in-state tuition or not. It should be able to be confirmed in there. If you have questions about your status as an in-state or out-of-state student, you can email your admissions counselor and we will get you that information.
Great. Thank you, Sarah. So one of the questions I can address here is, can you still apply for more scholarships and awards after your financial aid award is sent? And the answer is yes, you can apply for awards at any time. We actually have opportunities that will come up throughout the year. So at any point, you can apply for scholarships. You'll just probably want to let us know in financial aid if you are receiving a late scholarship from an outside source, just so we can make sure that all of that is accounted for. All right. Where can I find more information regarding your payment plan? If you scroll up just a little bit in the chat, I have a list of important links, and I can actually repost them here in a second. But one of them was regarding the payment plans. It's through our Office of Student Accounts. Their website is also, or their email address is umwbills@umw.edu. But they do have a great, very short video explaining the payment plan process and kind of how to start that. Um, we I don't know if we mentioned it here since we didn't specifically talk a lot about payment plans. The first payment plan opens in May and closes on July 4th. That will divide your total amount owed into 5 payments. And then the later you go after July 4th, that total payment will be broken down into smaller. It'll be 4 payments or 3 payments, which will make each payment larger. So we recommend, if even if you don't have your bill, go up and ahead and sign up for a payment plan before the July 4th deadline so that you can have it broken out into more payments. And we can also help every one of our orientation sessions. The offices of financial aid and student accounts, and to some extent, veteran services will be in a computer lab. You're welcome to bring a laptop or use one of ours, and we can help you also go through those processes. We have people from all of our offices that kind of sit down and can go over whatever you need at that point. Um, okay. Oh man, you guys are fast. Okay. Where can you accept your financial aid awards? You don't need to accept anything financial aid wise until you have made your ultimate decision and paid your admissions deposit and get your net ID and are able to log into the systems. Once you do that, Jessica had mentioned there's a system called Banner. Banner is our student information system. It's where you will schedule classes. It's where you kind of do a little bit of everything. And one of those things is accept your financial aid award. We can also help with that at orientation.
One
Oh,
thing to note, yes, you accept all of your financial aid award within
oh,
Banner. If you have been a recipient of a merit-based scholarship that was offered to you through admissions, you do need to complete the first year scholarship acceptance form, which is linked in your admissions portal to accept your merit-based scholarship. So there are two steps
yes,
that you'll need to take.
that is
And
correct.
the one through scholar as well.
Oh, and if you get a yes, if you get a foundation scholarship, there's one through scholar. You will get emails directing you to all of these places, though, depending on what you have. Can these links be emailed to us? Like I said, the links are included further up in the chat, But if anybody would like to email us at finaid@umw.edu, we can certainly get you any additional information that we didn't cover or that you want more information about within tomorrow or the next few days. Can I obtain my student's SAI number from FAFSA application from UMW? We we would have it. You can also, it would probably be easier to just log back into the student's FAFSA. You should be able to see it. It's called a, ooh, Jessica, what's the new term? FAFSA, uh, it's a FAFSA report. Basically, it used to be called a SAR, student aid report. Now it's called a FAFSA, I
Submission
forget,
summary.
submission
Submission
summary. Yes,
summary. Yes.
FSS. So you could probably go back into the email that you used for the FAFSA and find that. Uh, Otherwise, if you want to reach out to us, we can help, interpret the SAI and everything that you have. And I apologize. We have so many acronyms in financial aid, and a lot of them have changed recently. Can the links be emailed? Let's see what else we have here. Um, I am not sure about payment plans for international students, but I would encourage you to reach out to the student accounts department and ask them. I believe they are available, but I'm not 100%. So either email them, or if you have our information and want to email financial aid, we can get that to you.
Hmm?
Should we wait to see if we get endowment scholarships before we accept our aid package? I would say no. You will have the same opportunity to receive it whether you accept, now or later. What I would say, and I think Sarah had outlined a little bit earlier, is if something is going on, we know FAFSAs are representing 2 years prior tax information. So when you're filling out the FAFSA now, you're using 2024 information, especially if something has changed since then and your finances are not accurately represented by the current FAFSA. We encourage you to reach out and work directly with us, because doing the scholarship application is only one avenue. We can help assist you see if you're eligible for any other funds. We would just encourage you to reach out directly to either your admissions counselor or the Office of Financial Aid, and we can start those conversations. So I would say don't wait to accept your aid package, uh, but just keep an eye out. And if you receive something additional, then we will let you know after the fact. Is there a limit on how many scholarships we can have at once? Jessica touched on it briefly, but every student, when you look at your financial aid award letter or you look at this university's cost of attendance, that is the maximum amount of financial aid in general that you can have. So every person, it could be slightly different depending on if you're in state, out of state. It's not a specific number of scholarships, it's a specific dollar value of how much financial aid. Good questions. Okay, let me see
Ooh,
what we
this is a
have.
good one.
Okay, go
Is
ahead.
there a limit on how many? Did you just say this?
I
A
just
limit
did
on?
that one.
Oh my
Yes.
gosh, I'm so sorry. I was
Oh,
reading
no,
other questions in the
no, it's
chat and I
great.
missed
There's a
it.
lot. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and post here those important links one more time since it went up pretty high. Let me see what we have as far as what people had submitted prior to the webinar.
Ooh, this is another good one. Should we wait to choose a payment plan until we receive scholarships? How do we choose the earliest payment plan if we don't know if we have received UMW scholarships or not?
That's a
So
great
the
question.
Well, in the first payment plan, if you choose the payment plan with the most options, your first withdrawal of the payment plan is July 1st, if I remember correctly. Right, Tessa?
Yes, and then you have until July 5th to actually set up that
Correct. And
stuff. Yeah.
so essentially, if you are awarded a scholarship a little bit later, they will automatically adjust your payment plan to reflect that scholarship. So you can go
Yes.
ahead if you know that you want to set up a payment plan, you can go ahead and set that up, and then it will auto adjust if an additional scholarship is added for you.
Yes. Okay. Are there merit-based scholarships or opportunities for students pursuing an education degree? Yes, of course. There are scholarships for, we were kind of talking about the scholarship application in terms of incoming first year students, but we also have a lot of scholarships for the different departments that as you move up in your college career, when decide your major and you're officially an education major, that will put you in the running each year when you do your scholarship application for a whole nother set of scholarships. So yes, and I know just from experience, and I think Jessica could probably agree, education has
They have a
a
lot.
lot of scholarships.
Yes.
Yes. Um, okay,
There is another discipline that does have a new scholarship available if you don't mind, Tessa.
go for
So
it.
for students that are interested in the STEM areas, so this would be my biology, chemistry, physics, earth and environmental science students, anybody that is pre-med, pre-health, as well as physics, computer science, and mathematics and data science, you have the opportunity to apply for a scholarship called the Piscopo Rogers Science Fellows Program, which includes a scholarship for in-state students. It's about $3,200 a year. For out-of-state students, it's just about $6,000 a year. And this program is a research program, so that you have the opportunity for research starting your first year at Mary Washington. So it comes with a lot of different perks, including research and a guaranteed spot in our Summer Science Institute. But you also get a scholarship to help fund your education at Mary Washington. If you are interested in the Piscopo Rogers Science Fellows Program, I will drop the link in the chat, and you need to submit your application no later than March 1st.
All right, we just got a new question, which is a very good one, and it actually may benefit more people on the chat that didn't realize this. The question is, if there is more than one person attending a university this year, does that affect getting scholarships? Is that taken into account? So specifically for this scholarship application, no. But there is what we call a special circumstance opportunity if a parent has multiple dependents in college at the same time. It does require us to obtain some information, the cost of attendance for each student, the financial aid award from each student, basically showing what they have paid, the family has paid out of pocket. And sometimes we are able to use that to reduce their SAI, and therefore possibly be eligible for additional aid. So if you have multiple students in college, it may be worth reaching out to us and filling out an initial special circumstance form, just so that we can take a look and see if it could benefit you in any way. All right. Sarah, it looks like you're getting a few more questions about Piscopo Rogers if you want to address them. Uh, does Piscopo scholarship include astrophysics?
I think she's muted.
Oh, you're muted.
I'm just chatting over here to myself. So Piscopo Rogers Science Fellows Scholarship. If a student applies for that program, so it is a research fellowship program that includes a scholarship, students are selected to interview by mid-March, and interviews will be done virtually at the end of March with anticipation of notifying recipients by early April.
Great. Who do we tell if we have more than one kid in college? There is a form on our website. If you go to the UMW website, umw.edu/financial aid, there's a specific forms page. And on that forms page, you'll want to look at the special circumstance request. This is the same request you would use even if you had, like, say, a divorce or separation or a job loss or something like that, same form. And again, if you have any questions, just contact the financial aid office. Okay, how are we looking on time? We've got about 15 more minutes. I've got a bunch more questions. So again, anything we don't address, feel free to email our Yeah, I'm gonna put the link to that special circumstance form up real quick. But feel free to contact us and we can answer any of your questions. Let's see.
So there are a couple more questions about my Episcopo Rogers
Go
Science
ahead.
Fellows program. One is, do you need your net ID to apply? No. You just have to be admitted to the university to apply as a first year student. So you do not need your net ID. And you do not need a letter of recommendation from a teacher, but there is an essay as part of the application.
All right, I am putting the information about special circumstances in the chat. Again, this would cover anything where your FAFSA does not accurately portray your family's current financial situation. So feel free to contact us if you have any other questions about that. Let's see. Someone asked what other grants or awards are available beyond the admissions awards. So, of course, this scholarship application is going to put you in the running for any of our foundation scholarships. We also administer Virginia state grants, federal grants, the work study program, and a plethora of other smaller funds. So basically, I would encourage everyone to go out and file your FAFSA. Worst case scenario, you're not eligible for any funding, but there could be something out there that you don't think you'll be eligible for that actually could come up. And it's very easy to complete your FAFSA. So I would do that. That would be my advice, to see if you're eligible for any of those. We did have one person ask about waiting to receive a financial aid award and should they be expecting that soon. So for financial aid award, if you have completed your FAFSA prior to, I would say maybe 2.5 weeks ago, at this point, you likely should have received a financial aid award email from our office. Again, please check your junk or spam folder just in case. If you are a Pell Grant recipient, you will also receive a paper award. But most students have received their award that have completed their FAFSA. Now, if you have not, just simply send us an email and we will look into it. We can go in to the back end of the federal system and see where your FAFSA is. So I would not be concerned. Just send us an email and we can kind of go from there. All right. I'm going to just do a lightning round of some of these questions, maybe.
This
Okay.
was a good one, Tessa. I thought,
Okay.
would we consider special circumstance form before accepting admissions?
Yes, we are
Yes.
currently looking at them for next year.
Yeah.
So
So they would
it's,
want to, you would want to email it to, or
mhm.
you won't be able to submit it to the website yet, but you would want to either mail it or fax it
And you
potentially.
can email it. I would just encourage you, if you are mailing something that has something specific on, like social security numbers, taxes, please either, make a copy and make sure to redact any social securities or personally identifiable information, or drop it off at the college if you live close. Okay. Does having Parent Plus loans for other children that just graduated from college fall into the same consideration? So I'm going to guess that you're talking about the new, um, uh, we call it OB3, One Big Beautiful Bill, um, plus loan considerations. I believe what they said is if you had a student in college in the 25-26 year, so this year right now, you could be grandfathered in. However, like I had mentioned, I actually just got home from a financial aid conference, and they're not expecting the final regulations to come from the feds until probably right around July 1st, which is when they're supposed to be enacted. So please bear with us with the plus loans and other things. We will get the information out as soon as we know anything else. Um, Proof of need. So for if you're doing the multiple students in school, what we would likely ask for, if you just want to send it in advance, would be for each, if one of the students is obviously in UMW, we have that information. It would be for the other students, a copy of their yearly cost of attendance and a copy of their financial aid award for that year, which can be a screenshot. just so we can have documentation of the out-of-pocket cost. Okay, work study. We have a great work study program at UMW. We have about 750 jobs on campus. We have institutionally funded work study as well as need-based federal work study. Students make minimum wage. They're basically an employee of the college, so they receive a paycheck. I would encourage them to apply. They can go to our UMW careers page, and there are jobs listed in a specific student employment section. If they're interested in working for a specific department, I would have them reach out to them, just reach out to them because each department makes their own hiring decisions. Okay. Uh, like I said, work study, there are specific applications out on our website. Does paying the enrollment deposit increase our chances of staying accepted to UMW? I know people have had applications accepted, then rejected, even if it was their own fault. I'm gonna let you take that one, Sarah, because I haven't heard of that. I
Yeah,
guess
so the only time a student's offer of admission would be rescinded is if something doesn't successfully happen in terms of if you do not successfully finish high school, so you fail English and government, which you need to graduate, then an offer of admission would be rescinded. Um, Sometimes, if there are very serious situations that occur that result in suspension or dismissal from your high school or actual legal action that can also result in an offer of admission being rescinded. But typically, if you are accepting your offer for Mary
You okay?
Washington, that is not going anywhere as long as you successfully complete high school and don't get in trouble. A lot of trouble. I hope that helps.
All right. I have just posted the link to the forms website, which has some of the forms we've been talking about this evening. All right, let's see. Would you consider? Yes, we do. Let's see. Okay, let me go back to my list. I wasn't able to address many of these. So again, please feel free to reach out. Uh, how to accept? Oh, are there scholarships for athletes? Sarah, would you like to address that one? Or would you like me to?
UMW, yeah, I'm happy to because I am the athletic liaison and former student athlete at the University of Mary Washington. University of
Yay.
Mary Washington is a NCAA Division III school, which means we do not offer any athletic scholarships. So there are no scholarships that are tied to playing a sport.
Okay. Another one for you, Sarah. Quick, can I retake my SAT before freshman year at UMW to qualify for larger scholarships?
So at this point in time, we are not taking any additional SAT scores because you would not be able to take them before you would have to accept your offer of admission to Mary Washington. So really, the latest you could have taken an SAT and have it be considered for your merit scholarship was in December.
Okay. We talked about financial aid being reevaluated due to a parent's unemployment. That again would be our special circumstance process. Um,
I
let's see
think
what
this was a good one.
else.
Someone asked,
Okay.
are there any discounts offered for paying multiple semesters up front?
No, there are not, unfortunately. Let's see. The session will be recorded. It will be emailed to the participants, if I understand correctly, and posted on the UMW YouTube.
Correct. And also
Okay.
on the admitted student webinar page. So we are
Okay.
recording right now. It should be up by the end of the week, but you should also get an email by the end of the week.
Okay. Let's see. We have a few more questions that are still popping up. Let's see if you are Jessica, do you have any knowledge about ROTC scholarships?
It does not ring a bell. I don't
They
know.
probably are in the scholarship application. It's just every scholarship is different, so I would encourage you to use that search feature.
If you are considering ROTC, UMW's programs in conjunction with George Mason University, and it's an Army ROTC program, and they administer any of the ROTC scholarships for that program. So
Okay.
you would need to talk with our ROTC contact, which if you email admit@umw.edu, we can send that information to you. But any ROTC scholarships through the military
Viral.
are administered
Get
through
them,
our
get them.
program in conjunction with George Mason.
Okay, we are almost at our time. So before we get cut off, I would just like to say thank you so much for attending our chat. Again, the financial aid office is here for you. We are happy to answer any of your questions. I encourage you all to fill out the FAFSA application. If you are having financial difficulties, reach out to our office. Sarah, do you want to close it out?
Yeah, we're excited to have you guys considering Mary Washington for the UMW class of 2030. If you are ready to accept your offer of admission and enroll with us, you can submit your deposit at any point. If you're looking for another opportunity to visit campus, you can do so during Destination UMW, which would be March 14th and April 18th. And then we also
Mhm.
have our new academic oriented program, Majors and Mentors Day, which will be on Friday, March 13th. So you can look for all of that information on our admitted students page of the website, which is umw.edu/URN.
Sounds great. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening. Come visit us if you're on campus. We are in Lee Hall on the second floor. Thank you, Jessica.
Thank you.
Have a great night, everybody.
You too. I'll see you ladies tomorrow.
Bye.